Um, so we have the background now of how to go about diagnosing a case of keratoconus and how do we look at the signs and symptoms, and also what do you look for in the topography, which is a key thing to diagnose keratoconus. And also it is very important to um, do this tests such as topography tests in order to fit contact lenses properly for these cases. Normally, for most contact lens, routine contact lens fitting, you would just depend upon keratometry. But in cases of keratoconus, it would be a good idea to do a topography as well. The reason for that we will see shortly. So primarily, the reason why we are troubled with contact lens fitting in cases of keratoconus is for the reason of irregular astigmatism, which is seen with conditions such as keratoconus, post-traumatic or infectious corneal scars, or post-keratoplasty astigmatisms, and post-RK or PRK or LASIK. And this is the major problem in fitting a contact lens, the irregular astigmatism. Because once you have an irregular cornea, the lenses don't center very well, and that causes a problem with the fit of these lenses. The contact lens fitting in cases of irregular corneas, as I was telling you, the topography would give you a good guide on how to go about with fitting the lenses. As you can see in the picture on your extreme left, you can see there is a nipple cone or a central cone where the contact lens fitting would be reasonably easy because the lens is going to be centered. As you see the other cases, the cone, the steep areas are shifting downwards, indicated by the hot spot or the red area. And however hard you may try with the regular contact lenses, the lens is going to shift downwards towards the steep area. That means the centering of the lens will happen over the steep area, however hard you may try with the routine contact lens fitting. Coming to the lenses that we need to, we have as options in keratoconus are, as already has been dealt with, we have soft lenses, both spherical as well as the toric lenses, the RGP lenses, the regular rigid gas permeable lenses. As a cutoff point, you can say up to 45 or 46 diopters of steepness. I think you could still try a regular RGP lens for a case of keratoconus. But once your K values shoot up beyond 45, 46, I think it's a good idea to shift to special lenses such as in the soft areas or the RGP, or you even have the hybrid, which is a combination of soft and the rigid lenses. There are situations where you would want to combine a soft lens with an overriding RGP lens, which is called as a piggyback lens system. Situations wherein you have poor comfort with the GP lenses, or you have epithelial problems wherein you want to make an epithelial friendly soft lens sit on top of the cornea and then fit an RGP lens to give clear vision. And in those extreme cases of coning, you would probably shift to semi-scleral or scleral type of contact lenses. In many of the initial stages of keratoconus, many of these patients can be treated with soft contact lenses. The moment you see a keratoconus patient, it does not necessarily always mean you have to use an RGP lens. You may have several patients where you could simply fit a toric contact lens, which gives them reasonably good vision. I don't say they may get 100% clarity in vision, but you can trade off with the kind of comfort that soft lenses provide. You may actually choose a soft toric lens over a RGP lens, because RGP lenses have their own drawbacks in the form of discomfort and intolerance to use. So in the early stages of keratoconus, it may not be a bad idea to try toric soft contact lenses. But as the condition advances, as I said, you may have to depend upon more specialized lenses. One such lens in the soft variety is the Kerasoft lens from Bausch and Lomb. And these lenses have are silicon material made lenses, and they have different curves on the back surface, and which allows them to fit properly on the lens corneal surface. And they are they have a diameter of about 14.5 millimeters, which allows them to stabilize properly on the cornea. Coming to the RGP lenses, the routine RGP lenses have some role in fitting patients, as I said, those who have steepness of less than 45 diopters. But more often than not, you see these patients of keratoconus wherein you may have to depend upon a special contact lens, such as a Rose-K lens. Paul Rose is an optometrist from New Zealand who actually tried out lenses through trial and error, different permutation and combinations, different lenses on these patients, and decided that back surface of the contact lens needs to have different curvatures as against to the traditional RGP lenses. So these are the specialized Rose-K lenses, which have the Rose-K2 is the more recent option. A little bit about these lenses would be worthwhile. You have the Rose-K2 lenses for keratoconus, then you have the Rose-K2 for irregular corneas, and then you have Rose-K2 post-graft lenses. This is the design of the Rose-K lens, wherein you see the lens has a central curvature and a peripheral curvature. You can fit the lens on the cone and not bother about the peripheral part straight away. First, you make sure that you get your central fitting properly. And then, as you can see in the chart below, the figure below on the left bottom side, you can actually change the position of the peripheral flange. So the lens would still be fitting perfectly in the center, but depending on whether you want to elevate the periphery or depress the periphery of the lens, you could do what is called as the changing the vaulting of the lens in the periphery. This allows you to fit a contact lens beautifully in these cases of keratoconus. Another additional feature of the Rose-K2 lenses is called as the asymmetric corneal technology. As we all know, most patients of keratoconus have inferior steepening, which causes a condition called as an edge standoff. You can see in the pictures in the middle, the three pictures, you can see at the bottom of the lens, you can see pooling of the fluorescein, which indicates that the edge of the lens is standing off the cornea. The reason for that is the inferior cornea is steeper in these cases compared to the superior cornea. For these cases, as you can see in the contact lens design on the left of the image, the lens can just be made a little steeper in the inferior part. It doesn't mean that it is in the inferior part of the lens, but the moment you place this lens on the cornea, that aspect of the lens will come and sit on the inferior portion of the cornea. So thereby you can actually stop vaulting of the lens in the inferior part, which is a major reason why the lenses get flicked out of the patient's eye. So many times you would have seen patients of contact keratoconus wearing an RGP lens, but frequently complaining that the lens is getting ejected out. That is because the inferior edge of the lens is standing off, and this can be addressed by ACT technology. The ACT can be grade 1, 2, 3, depending on the severity of the edge standoff. And then you also have what is called as a toric PCs, wherein in case if you see in the image below the fluorescein picture, the picture on the left shows a typical with the rule astigmatism with the dumbbell pattern of fluorescein staining with a traditional lens. But once you apply the toric PC technology, this dumbbell pattern tends to disappear, and actually the contact points in the 3 and 9 o'clock meridian, they have disappeared, and there is more uniform staining now that can be seen. So toric PCs, ACT technology, vaulting of the lens periphery can all be combined nicely to give you a clear, beautiful fit of the lens, as you can see in the right below picture of the fluorescein. But however hard you may try in the advanced cases of keratoconus, the fit may not be perfectly fine. In such cases, you will have to depend upon the more advanced contact lenses, which are called as the, in case of the combination of soft and RGP, these are called as the hybrid lenses. In this lens, which is made by Synergise, called as a clear cone lens, you have a central RGP lens with a skirt of HEMA, that is soft material. So, and make sure that you don't stain these lenses with normal fluorescein, because the skirt around will get stained and the fluorescein will enter into the lens. You always have to use the high molecular weight fluorescein only. That you have to keep in mind. These lenses tend to address two major issues. One, because their diameter is large, stability is not going to be an issue. They don't come out of the eye easily. And second, because they have an RGP material in the center, they can address the irregular astigmatism very well. So the vision of the patient is very good. What you try to do in this lens fitting is try to get a minimal fluorescein film in the center with little bit of fluorescein towards the periphery.
Please conclude, sir.
Yep. This is just a video which shows you Clearcone trial box.
I'm sorry, sir.
Video.
Has Dr. Rishi joined in?
This is a 15-minute presentation. So
Yes, I'm here.
You have lens carrying thing and also a cobalt blue torch, which helps in seeing the fit from outside using the slit lamp. High molecular fluorescein I was talking about. You can see the lens there. MPS solution, or you could even use preservative-free saline solution for these cases. You have to fill it till the brim, and then apply the sodium fluorescein, the high molecular weight one. You have to place it in the patient's eye. You can see it's a steep fit with an air bubble trapped there. Whenever there is an air bubble, you make sure that you remove again and place it again so that there is no bubble there. The fit here is little on the steeper side. You would want a more lighter amount of fluorescein to be there in the behind the lens. Even a small bubble should not be there behind the lens. When you are placing, you have to remove and reapply. Coming to this last lens that I wanted to impress on you is the ROSE K2 XL lens, which is the more advanced or semi-scleral type of lens, wherein you have this trial set with different types of lenses. You again have the lens inserter, which helps you in placing the lens into the patient's eye, and also it helps in removing it. This is the lens, and this lens is again a large 14.5 millimeter diameter lens. You fill this lens till the brim, as you did with the previous Clearcone lens. You can use a normal fluorescein here because this is not going to get stained by the normal fluorescein. But in case of a Clearcone lens, you have to make sure that you have applied the high molecular weight fluorescein. Make sure that the patient's head is absolutely horizontal and eye is looking absolutely down. Make them look down and just apply the lens. So all that you need to do is just go and touch the eye and it will get sucked onto the cornea. Which means the application is either wrong or the fit is too steep. The light touch in the center. Most patients of keratoconus, the important thing to remember is you should try to achieve a feather touch in the center. By getting a feather touch in the center, one, you would have excellent vision, which means there is a little compression on the cone of the cornea, which in turn removes all the disturbing double vision or the ghosting of the image, which is critical. You may have a beautiful fit on the lens on the cornea, but the patient may be complaining of ghosting. That is because you fail to touch the cornea faintly in the center with the contact lens. But at the same time, avoid touching the cornea too much because that would in turn lead to long-term scarring of the cornea. So you have to have the right balance for fitting these lenses. Thank you.